This is Selkirk. We're a small Manitoba city surrounded by small communities in a region of agriculture, Great Lakes, and with the Red River connecting all of us. We know how to have fun, summer and winter. And we're a smart and caring community, in part because we're home to the Selkirk and District Community Foundation. A few years ago, this small foundation made a big decision. It was going to make communications a strategic goal. And that's where I come in, a former journalist, a communications consultant, and a volunteer. One of the first things I needed to know was, how did my foundation get started? What's our founding story? Fortunately, not too far away was the Winnipeg Foundation, and their leader, Rick Frost, is really good at telling their founding story. In fact, it seems like every event I go to that Rick's at, he's telling the founding story.
It was about 90 years ago that the Winnipeg Foundation was created by a prominent businessman by the name of William Alloway. In 1921, he set aside $100,000 to create our organization. That first endowment, a pool of $100,000, generated $6,000 in grants the following year. And so we got to make our first 6 gifts of $1,000 each in 1922. The interesting part of the story, I think, is that there were no other gifts. Alloway was a very prominent, well-known person. He had a wide network of wealthy friends, but there were no other gifts to the Winnipeg Foundation for 3 years until 1924. And at that time, we received in a small white envelope, we still have it in the office, simply marked the widow's mite, 3 gold coins worth $15. But I always take the view that probably just as important as Alloway's gift in 1921 was the second gift that came in 1924, when we got a gift, which I still have the envelope for, $15, 3 gold coins worth $15, and the only thing on that envelope says the widow's mite. And I think that the second gift validates the whole idea. It really changed us from a private foundation to a community foundation.
That's 3 different events where Rick Frost told that story. Now, before you think I'm stalking Rick Frost, here's what you need to know. He tells that story at every event he goes to. I've heard it a dozen times, and it never gets old. That's because smart and caring stories like that are worth repeating early and often. So that made us think at the Selkirk Foundation, gee, I wonder who our early donors are. And this is what we found.
We chose Maple Drive because it was a new street, and the children and I liked the house, and this was going to be good. We moved there in April of 1964. Everybody that came to the Maple Drive was in the same position, raising children, first home, that sort of thing. And we developed a closeness. There was about 30 kids in this one little block, and these children just had a wonderful time. And they used to go out in the morning, do their thing, come home and eat, or say I'm eating lunch at so-and-so's, and it was just wonderful. It was a wonderful street. If somebody new came on the street, because there were a few people that left, and then there'd be new people, and we thought we should welcome them. And then when people started retiring, then we would have another little party. 2 of our people were retiring. Irene Mitz was retiring from the hospital. She was a nurse. And Walter Booty was selling his Texaco station. Booty didn't want a present, and neither did Irene. So we had money left over. And I had seen this ad in the Journal about the foundation starting up. And I mentioned this to a few people, and they said, go for it. So I did, and that was it. $40.
Well, this donation was our first donation made by the Maple Drive gang in 1995. We were so new that we couldn't even give them a receipt. We hadn't received our charitable status yet. So what a fantastic story of the very first gift to the foundation.
Now, isn't that amazing? The Winnipeg Foundation has a story about a widow who gave an early donation. We have a story about a widow who gave an early donation. Coincidence? Maybe not. Maybe you have a story out there that's worth researching, writing down, and retelling. We actually didn't stop there. We went on and looked for our largest early donor as well. And this is the rest of our founding story.
Well, Lewis Wassett was a very well-respected member of the legal community in this community, and a very community-minded individual. Well, he had a great idea to start this community foundation. That coincided with the 20th anniversary of Betty Ann and I setting up a business in Selkirk. So we spoke to Lewis and said we'd like to be in there and make the first or second contribution. And we decided in the amount of $500 for each year that we had been in business in Selkirk at that time. So that ended up to $10,000. I personally thought that it was a massive project to undertake, and but knowing Lewis, we had faith in it, and he prevailed, and he really created something that's going to be of immeasurable value to this community today and ongoing into the future. Without him, I'm not sure that anybody else would have been prepared to pick up that challenge and move forward and stay with it, because it's not a kind of a thing that you could do just overnight, you know. It just took time and persistence in order to achieve the objectives, which is now benefiting the whole community.
Well, I think we felt a responsibility, really, because we're running our business here, and we just felt that people were very good to us, and we wanted to do something for the community as well. We like to support young people because if young people get off to a good start in their school years, teenage years, and so on, it's going to be helpful for their future.
So in our first 15 years, we went from the very first gift, a modest $40 gift that celebrated community and neighbors, right now to $5 million in assets.
I continue to give. I give money in memory of people, or wedding anniversary rather than a present. Just do it. Just do it.
So we take those two stories, we combine them and make a video, and of course we post it on the internet and on our website. But we also have those stories on our computers and on our cell phones. We take that with us everywhere we go. So we're telling the story at meetings, or we're meeting new funders, we're showing that video at grant receptions. It goes everywhere. And probably we're tired of hearing it, but for a lot of people, it's the first time they've heard our founding story. So we tell it early and often. So what have we learned? Here's our top 6 tips. Number 1, make strategic communications a board objective. Number 2, find the right volunteers with communications experience to guide your work. They might be a former journalist or a writer who understands good storytelling. 3, learn your founding story. Research it, write it, record it, memorize it, and tell it. 4, tell that story often, early and often, in a succinct and simple way so that other people can understand it. 5, borrow good ideas from other foundations. We did. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And number 6, call the good folks at the Community Foundations of Canada. They're smart and caring people, and they can help. Good luck telling your founding story that proves you're a smart and caring community.